Hello my fellow board gamers, today I am bringing you an overview of Pret-a-Porter. This is the third edition. We can see the designer just down here and it's brought to you by these guys at the bottom. Now this one takes, it says 90 to 120 minutes. This is more like 3 hours plus, folks, in any game I've ever played, and it's 2 to 4 players, as I've already said. It's a heavy complexity one. Now looking at the box, it probably is going to put most people off, but it's actually a really interesting economic game, obviously, of the fashion world. We'll be running fashion companies, trying to eke out the most profit by selling our designs, having acquired the right materials from them. So you can see here, this is our company. We'll be hoping to hire staff and put them at the bottom here. Hopefully have some more buildings that give you extra additional benefits, have your designs and meet the requirements for the resources needed. Here you got a host of different colors, so you're collecting those, and you're taking these designs based on the type at the bottom here. So those symbols, you're open to take one type of design. So if you have 2 or 3 of these, you take them to the fashion show, which happens at the end of each quarter. So the whole game plays out over 1 year. There's 12 months and there's 4 quarters, and at the end of each quarter you're going to be doing those shows. So you got quarter 1 here, show there, then you got quarter 2, quarter 3 and quarter 4, and then you finish off quarter 4 there, should I say. Now, how is the game actually going to play out then? So looking at the board, it's a large board, folks. I have to really stand back to get the whole thing in there. You are literally, it's got worker placement. So the various spots you can go to number 1, which is the bank. You can get credit cards depending on how many of those collections you've got at one time. You can go number 2 to get your contracts, which are great. You can go and get a quality consultant, which is gain free quality. Get the real estate agent, means you can go to location free without taking an agent, and you don't have to pay the purchase cost. You can gain 2 trend. I'll kind of go into what trend and quality is in a minute. So spot 3 is all about getting buildings, and those kind of bolt on, like this one on the far right, to your company, and they give you more spots to train people up, or not train, but actually take more staff on. So you can start off with 3 staff, and you can have 4 staff in this case, whereas these guys at the bottom, you can see they've already got an experienced model superstar, but they could only fit 3 in capacity. So that's kind of why you want buildings, plus they have some excellent benefits as well. Number 4 is that where you actually get your staff. So you can see we've got a talented designer, they gain a trend, a marketing agent. They can see this is when it's actually going to be used. So during the show phase, this is going to be used during the upkeep phase. So you have to be mindful of not forgetting to use these. And they got this marketing agent. You get 1 PR for each retail outlet, major outlet. So some synergy going on there. Accounting, which is one of my favorites. You get literally 5 money every time the upkeep phase happens. And if you look at the year track here on the side, there's a lot of upkeep phases, which is where you're going to have to pay the costs of running your business. And the number 5 is where you're going to go and get these designs. So you can see you want to be hopefully matching these symbols. So this little symbol here is rock. So if you did acquire 2 of them and you had a particular rock one as well, if you could get the materials for them and send all 3, that gives you, you know, a multiplier of prestige, which is kind of victory points, and gives you potential for extra money. Now at the bottom here, you got number 6, which is like a local type warehouse. Number 7 is like or what's it called? Importing. Let me just remember. Sorry, warehouse, local manufacturer, a local warehouse. I'm completely messing this up now. A warehouse, a local manufacturer, a warehouse, and importing. And you can see, depending on where you go, you're going to get various amounts of quality. So you can see, you go here, you get 2 and 3, but the costs go up and the capabilities change. So here, you can get 1 type, as many as you want. So you get 1 green, well, as many green as you want, or as many yellow. Here, you can get 1 of each. You can get 1 of each, but here you can do exactly the same as this one, but the costs are more. You can see 14 for a right compared to an 8, but you're going to get free quality. And finally, you can go to the last minute preparations, which is where you can literally just take 1 of these, which could be crucial, some more money, trend, quality, and I'll kind of go over what they do in a second. So once you've placed your workers out there, you're going to be going from 1 numerical order down from left to right. So let's just do an example. Reds have gone here, or pink, and then orange has gone here. So in this case, you go numerical order. So what we've done is the planning phase. This is the action phase. So red goes first. They take 1 of these, put it next to the board. Let's just say they take this one, Boom, they put it next to their board there where the contracts go. Number 3, same again, take a card. Number 4, and you carry on through. Once you've gone through all them, you go into the growth phase. Now this is where you get a chance to train one of your staff. So you can see we've kind of already trained them, but train, you pay the cost, flip it over, and you get an extra benefit, but your upkeep cost goes up. Now the upkeep cost is all about the costs of your business. You can keep track of it on here to kind of show you how much money you're gonna have to fork out. You can see we've got 3, 4, 5. 4 minus the 1 is 5, so you can see that's where the token goes. So we were over to the growth phase, weren't we? You could also spend money to upgrade your buildings. So you can see here we've already done it, but you could spend 3 more, upgrade this small workshop to a large workshop. So at the moment, during the show phase, they spend 3 money to resolve location number 9, whereas they can resolve location number 9 without spending money and gain 1 prestige, which is massive. You then go to the next spot, so that was literally placing those. You actually do the upkeep phase, so these icons give you a good sort of idea of what's coming up. Now the upkeep phase is literally paying the cost, so they'd pay 6 money there, and these guys would pay 5 money there. And if you don't have money, you're going to have to take one of these loans. You can see at the top, the green's all about the credit cards, which you can get from that location spot 1. And if you can't ever pay, you can't take these sort of whenever you want. You have to only take one when you can't pay money on the upkeep phase. So you can see the interest you're going to be paying every round on the upkeep, and it's going to cost you 28 to pay that back as well. So looking at the board then, we've done the we've done that phase there, we've done the upkeep. So we then go into month 2, same again, we put all our workers out. Now we would replenish these, you don't just refill them. You get rid of these 2, get rid of those 3, so new ones are always cycling through. You then do another upkeep phase where you pay the cost if that sort of focuses. Now finally, month 3, you're going to be turning any of these ribbons you've acquired into victory points, and you can see around the outside of the board you've got this lovely sort of tape measure type effect, which is really nice and dramatic. So victory points on the side, and we are finally over to the exhibition itself. So first off, you would trade any of these you've acquired from the last round in for victory points, and it depends on the player count. How many victory points you get for each one of these prestige. Next thing you do is the show phase. Now let's just say these guys here managed to have, what have we got, 2 reds, and we got a white and a yellow. So you can see they've got the same symbol at the bottom, which is evening wear, and that means they've got 2 the same. They can send these to the show. They've got the relevant materials on them to have produced them, so they send them to the show. These guys have only got 1 each of the symbols, so let's just say had a blue and a pink, blue and a purple. They got 1 collection, they send that one to the show. Now you have to send at least 1 design to the show in order to participate. And looking at the show here, you can see in quarter 1, this is the show. All 4 are going to score, so you can see all 4 lines, whereas if you work through the quarters, there's going to be 2 shows here, but only 3 of them are going to score. And then as you go down, 2, and eventually 1 each for these. Now in terms of scoring, you can see you've got PR, so you're hoping to acquire those tokens. Your public relations, you've worked hard on it, improved it. You've got trend that's going to be scoring, the most collection sent, and quality last. So in a 2-player game, you're going to get 4 prestige, let's say, for winning the most PR. So you can see you're going to be storing these on your board as you go throughout the game: PR, quality, trend, and most collections. And these guys have only sent the 1 collection, whereas these guys sent the 2, so they would win that 3rd spot. But you work your way down, whoever's got most PR, then trend, and so on. And you have to be really mindful as to what icons you're collecting throughout the quarters of the year in order to score them. So you can see in this 3rd quarter there's 3 shows, but the bottom 2 aren't even scoring. So if you're going for, you're going to need PR, most collection, trend, quality, so there's a bit of mixture. But if you went for PR, you can see it's only going to score once because it's not even participating in these 2 shows. Now how do you acquire all these? So looking at some of the cards on the board, you can see some contracts are going to give you trend. If you come down here, this banquet hall gives you the option to get PR. You've got more trend here from your talented designers. You've got quality when you actually go and get the materials, and you can go to here to get extra bits and bobs as well. So that's how you're going to get those. Now when you've actually sent your stuff to the show, you're going to be doing the award phase, which is where I've just said you get all your prestige for having sort of traded those icons in for them. You then go to the sales phase, which is where you're going to get your prestige. So let's just say hypothetically these guys had all of these. You multiply, so 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times the number of collections, which is 2, is 12. So you get 12 money as a kind of little bonus there, a little prestige effect. You then go to the collection sale, which is where you get a chance to sell these. So you're going to get 24 money, 27 for that. You get rid of the materials, get rid of these designs. Now you can see at the beginning, each company has a slight different twist. These guys are all about trousers. This sort of dictates as well what starting cars you get, and if that symbol matches any of these on here, which it does, you get an extra trend, which is great because you need that trend to be able to participate for the awards. So you've sold your collections, you've got rid of all your tokens here. You then do the upkeep phase again, which you can see is kind of at the bottom here. You pay your costs as based on your board here. You then go into this final one here, which is turning your contracts over. So this contract, which we've utilized to gain the free quality, flips over, and we're only going to get 2 qualities, so they diminish as you go through the rounds. Now at the end of the next quarter, you can see we're going to be doing the next either flip or X. We've already flipped this one, so we're at the X, which means we get rid of the contracts, so they only last a limited amount of time. And you're literally going to be playing out through these quarters. When you get to the end here, you're going to have one more chance to trade in these prestige for victory points. You're going to add up your money, which is like for like. So you can see here 5 money is going to be 5 victory points. Add it all up to the final measuring tape around the board. Whoever has the highest victory points on there is the winner. So as I've already mentioned, this is heavy complexity, folks. The real depth as to what to go for, what buildings, what staff, you know, what contracts are amazing. No cost, and they give you so many benefits. But you really have to be, you know, of a timely nature, because you need to get these resources, and you've got to balance your costs of buying the materials to be able to fulfill the designs. And if you can't quite last out because you spent so much money on designs, you might not even have enough money to get through these upkeep phases before you get to the show itself, which means you then having to take credit cards and loans, which eat into the money you've spent. And then it might even work out that, you know, you spent so much on raw materials. You know, let's just say these two are red and a white, you're only getting 27, but looking at here, if you'd have gone to this one, a red and a white would have cost you 19 to acquire them. But you've got those prestige points, because the more collections you can send times these ones, you're going to get that extra prestige money. So a whole host of things to think about in this game here. Now, if you're after a more sort of deeper video where I go through and actually play it out, check out my run through. I'll be bringing you guys next week.